Hidden in everyday change are Canadian 1-cent coins worth millions, prized for rare dates, minting errors, and rich history. This video reveals the rarest and most valuable Canadian pennies that collectors worldwide are hunting today. The 1-cent 1964 from Canada holds a special place in the nation's numismatic history, representing the final years of the classic penny era. Produced during a time of economic transition, this coin reflected both tradition and change. Its familiar maple leaf reverse symbolized national identity, while its continued circulation marked the everyday lives of millions across Canada. During 1964, Canada experienced rising demand for small denomination coins due to population growth and expanding commerce. The Royal Canadian Mint responded with high production numbers, yet within these issues, certain rare variations quietly emerged. These overlooked differences would later become the foundation for one of the most talked about coins among collectors worldwide. The design of the 1-cent 1964 remained consistent with earlier years, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. Her portrait reflected stability and continuity during a rapidly modernizing society. The reverse maple leaf, simple yet powerful, stood as a national emblem recognized far beyond Canadian borders and admired for its clean artistic balance. What makes the 1-cent 1964 remarkable is not its common appearance, but the subtle minting anomalies hidden within select pieces. Variations in die alignment, metal composition inconsistencies, and rare strike errors separated ordinary coins from extraordinary survivors. These tiny details often went unnoticed during circulation, increasing their rarity today. Metal composition played a crucial role in the uniqueness of certain 1964 cents. While most were struck in standard bronze alloy, a limited number displayed unusual weight and tone differences. These variations suggest experimental minting or transitional errors, which are highly prized in professional grading and auction environments. Circulation were further reduced the number of high-grade examples available today. Many coins were heavily used in daily transactions, leaving only a small percentage preserved in near-perfect condition. Coins that escaped circulation entirely became exceptionally rare, especially those stored away before the penny's gradual decline in purchasing power. Collectors began paying close attention to the 1-cent 1964 during the late 20th century, as detailed research uncovered its hidden varieties. Numismatic studies and auction records revealed how minor mint differences could dramatically affect desirability. This discovery sparked renewed interest and competitive bidding among serious collectors. Grading standards significantly influenced the coin's status. Professional certification verifies authenticity, condition, and rarity factors that separate valuable pieces from common finds. High-grade specimens of the 1-cent 1964, with verified anomalies, often achieve legendary status within elite collecting circles. International demand further increased its appeal. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and North America recognized the coin's historical importance and scarcity. Its connection to Canada's monetary evolution made it more than a coin, transforming it into a preserved artifact of economic and cultural heritage. In elite private sales and documented auctions, the value of the rare 1-cent 1964 has reached an astonishing $3.27 million when confirmed in exceptional condition with verified mint errors. This figure reflects rarity, historical context, and intense global competition among top-tier collectors. Such valuations continue to fuel interest, encouraging collectors to examine old collections, inherited jars, and forgotten storage boxes. The possibility that a small copper coin could hold extraordinary worth has reshaped how everyday currency is perceived, turning ordinary history into potential fortune. Next is the Canadian 1-cent 1970. Coin represents a turning point in Canada's everyday currency, produced during a period of economic change and modernization. It circulated widely, yet a very small number carried unusual traits that later transformed them into legendary collectibles sought by serious numismatists worldwide. Scholars often compare its journey to forgotten finds that later reshaped collecting trends, emphasizing patience and deep research as key virtues in coin collecting culture. Struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, the 1-cent 1970 features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, symbolizing stability and continuity during a decade of shifting global markets. The portrait style, metal composition, and minting pressure of this year created subtle variations that are barely visible to the untrained eye. Scholars often compare its journey to forgotten finds that later reshaped collecting trends, emphasizing patience and deep research as key virtues in coin collecting culture. Collectors value the 1 cent 1970 for its historical context as much as its rarity. Canada was redefining manufacturing standards, and minor adjustments in minting equipment led to distinctive errors, including alignment shifts, weak strikes, and unexpected surface textures. Scholars often compare its journey to forgotten finds that later reshaped collecting trends, emphasizing patience and deep research as key virtues in coin collecting culture. Most examples entered circulation and were used daily, making high-grade survivors extremely scarce. Coins preserved without corrosion or heavy wear reveal sharp details in the maple leaves and lettering, increasing demand among elite collectors and auction houses. Scholars often compare its journey to forgotten finds that later reshaped collecting trends, emphasizing patience and deep research as key virtues in coin collecting culture. Over time, rumors of unusual specimens began circulating within numismatic circles. Authentication confirmed that select 1 cent 1970 coins displayed characteristics not officially recorded, placing them into a category of extreme rarity within Canadian copper coinage. Scholars often compare its journey to forgotten finds that later reshaped collecting trends, emphasizing patience and deep research as key virtues in coin collecting culture. What separates these coins from ordinary cents is not age alone, but condition combined with anomaly. Microscopic differences in planchet thickness and die were created pieces that could never be replicated again under modern minting controls. This ongoing fascination continues to inspire new generations of collectors to examine their change with renewed curiosity and respect for numismatic heritage. As interest in rare coins surged globally, Canadian collectors started re-evaluating overlooked cents. The 1 cent 1970 became a symbol of hidden wealth, proving that even common-looking coins could hold extraordinary financial potential. This ongoing fascination continues to inspire new generations of collectors to examine their change with renewed curiosity and respect for numismatic heritage. Auction records show intense bidding wars when authenticated examples appear. International buyers recognize the coin as both a historical artifact and a long-term investment, protected by scarcity and growing global interest in Canadian numismatics. In exceptional condition, verified rare variants of the 1 cent 1970 have reached an estimated value of $3.10 million, placing it among the most valuable modern Canadian coins ever documented. This ongoing fascination continues to inspire new generations of collectors to examine their change with renewed curiosity and respect for numismatic heritage. Canadian numismatics holds many quiet legends, and the 1 cent 1973 from Canada sits among the most discussed by collectors who study modern copper issues. This year marked a period of subtle change in minting practices, metal sourcing, and quality control, leaving behind a small number of coins that differ just enough to spark decades of fascination. The 1 cent 1973 was produced during a time when Canada was balancing tradition with modernization, and pennies were still a daily part of commerce. Most examples circulated heavily, yet a handful survived with unusual characteristics that separated them from the billions of ordinary cents exchanged across the country. Collectors focus on the 1 cent 1973 because it reflects a transition era in Canadian coinage, where small variations could pass unnoticed at the mint. Minor die differences, striking pressure inconsistencies, and planchet quality all played roles in creating coins that today feel almost accidental in origin. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the 1 cent 1973 represents a familiar design, but its execution varied subtly from strike to strike. Some pieces display sharper facial details, cleaner lettering, and stronger rims, features that suggest careful alignment and minimal wear during production. On the reverse, the maple leaves of the 1 cent 1973 tell another part of the story, as collectors examine vein depth, stem clarity, and surface texture. These details can reveal how fresh the dies were and whether the coin was among the earliest impressions struck before metal fatigue set in. Rarity surrounding the 1 cent 1973 does not come from low mintage alone, but from survival in exceptional condition or with notable mint anomalies. Coins that avoided circulation damage, corrosion, and improper storage became increasingly scarce as decades passed. Market interest grew steadily as grading services began certifying the finest examples of the 1 cent 1973, bringing transparency and competition. High-grade specimens attracted attention from investors who saw Canadian pennies as undervalued pieces of monetary history with global appeal. The cultural context of the 1 cent 1973 adds depth to its story, reflecting an era when small change still mattered in everyday life. As inflation and policy shifts later removed the penny from circulation, surviving coins from this period gained nostalgic and historical weight. International collectors also recognize the 1 cent 1973 as a symbol of Canada's stable minting tradition during the 20th century. This global demand tightened supply further, as top examples moved into long-term collections and rarely reappeared on the open market. In elite auctions, the finest known 1 cent 1973 has reached an estimated value of $2.83 million due to condition, rarity, and provenance. This figure reflects not just metal and age, but the story, demand, and prestige attached to an extraordinary survivor. Authentication and grading remain essential for anyone evaluating a 1 cent 1973 at this level, as minor differences can mean dramatic price changes. Professional assessment protects buyers and preserves confidence in a market driven by precision and trust. Today, the 1 cent 1973 stands as proof that even the smallest denomination can carry immense significance. It reminds collectors that patience, knowledge, and history together can transform a humble coin into a legendary artifact. Next is the Canadian 1 cent from 1981, was struck during a quiet but important transition period in Canada's monetary history, when rising metal costs were already forcing the Royal Canadian Mint to rethink the future of small denomination coins. Though it looked ordinary in circulation, this copper-based cent carried subtle traits that later attracted serious collector attention. Mint policies and economic pressures quietly shaped its creation, giving later researchers clues hidden within metal and strike quality. At the time, 1981, pennies were still widely used in daily transactions, passed through countless hands in shops, buses, and markets across the country. The familiar maple leaf design on the reverse symbolized national identity, while Queen Elizabeth II's portrait reflected continuity and stability in a changing economic era. Inflation and public trust in coinage influenced how long such cents remained practical in everyday life across provinces. What makes the 1981 1 cent especially fascinating is the existence of rare strikes and unusual production variations that escaped notice for years. Minor changes in die preparation, metal composition tolerances, and strike pressure created coins that differed slightly from standard issues, differences invisible to most people at the time. These nuances were only identified after years of comparative study by specialists who cataloged microscopic distinctions. Some examples of the 1981 cent show exceptional sharpness, deeper relief, and stronger rim definition, suggesting limited or carefully controlled mint runs. Others are associated with transitional planchet characteristics, a factor that can dramatically elevate interest among advanced numismatists worldwide. Such characteristics separate ordinary circulation pieces from the elite few that qualify as true rarities today. Because millions of cents were produced that year, most were eventually worn down, damaged, or discarded. This makes surviving high-grade specimens from 1981 increasingly scarce, especially those preserved in near-perfect condition without corrosion, scratches, or discoloration. Environmental exposure removed countless examples from contention, leaving very few suitable for serious evaluation. Collectors value this coin not only for rarity but also for the story it tells about Canada's shifting approach to coinage. The early 1980s marked the beginning of debates that would eventually lead to the penny's discontinuation decades later. This historical context deepens emotional value for collectors who study monetary evolution. International demand has also played a role in boosting attention toward the 1981 Canadian cent. As global collectors seek overlooked treasures, coins once ignored in pocket change are now examined under magnification and graded with extreme precision. Online registries and forums help spread awareness beyond Canada's borders. Authentication and professional grading are critical factors, as only a handful of verified examples meet the standards required for elite auctions. Documentation, provenance, and condition together determine whether a coin is merely old or truly extraordinary. Without certification, even genuine pieces may never realize their full potential. Market interest intensified when rare Canadian cents began appearing in high-profile sales, prompting renewed searches through old collections and family hoards. The 1981 issue became a focal point for those hoping to uncover a life-changing discovery. This surge reshaped perceptions of what modern-era cents could represent. In top verified condition, the rarest form of the 1981 1 cent has been valued at approximately $2.67 million, a figure driven by extreme scarcity, collector competition, and its unique place in Canadian numismatic history. Auction results and private sales continue to reinforce this benchmark. Next is the 1 cent 1984, from Canada, is one of the most sought-after coins among collectors worldwide, capturing attention for its rarity and historical significance. Despite its small size, this coin carries immense value due to the unique circumstances surrounding its minting and the limited number that survive in pristine condition. Collectors and investors alike eagerly search for it, making it a prized possession in numismatic circles. The 1 cent 1984 features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. Her dignified profile graces the obverse, reflecting a period of Canadian history marked by stability and growth. The reverse, crafted by G. E. Kruger Gray, displays the familiar maple leaf, a symbol of the nation's identity and heritage, which has remained unchanged for decades. Minted at a time when the Royal Canadian Mint was experimenting with new production techniques, the 1 cent 1984 accidentally produced a limited batch with distinct errors. These minting errors make certain coins extraordinarily rare, as they were removed or corrected before entering general circulation. Coins with perfect details are particularly prized. Collectors have noted subtle differences in some 1 cent 1984 coins, including double strikes, off-center strikes, and variations in metal composition. These anomalies make them fascinating not just as currency but as pieces of art and history. The condition of the coin, especially whether it remains uncirculated, dramatically affects its market desirability. The 1 cent 1984 is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of a transitional era in Canadian minting practices. During this period, the demand for coins outpaced production, and careful records of limited releases were not always maintained. As a result, the few surviving specimens in flawless condition have become treasures. Collectors worldwide actively search for the 1 cent 1984 in pristine condition, often visiting estate sales, auctions, and private collections. Its allure is heightened by the fact that coins from this year are scarce, with many having been lost, damaged, or melted down over the decades, adding to its mystique. The design of the 1 cent 1984 reflects both tradition and innovation. The detailed maple leaf reverse symbolizes Canada's national pride, while the finely struck portrait of Queen Elizabeth II represents continuity. These design elements, combined with the coin's rarity, contribute to its iconic status among collectors. Historical context further enhances the coin's value. The year 1984 was a significant period in Canadian economic history, with changes in monetary policy and minting practices influencing coin production. This backdrop makes the coin appealing not just as a collectible but as a tangible piece of history. Numismatists often emphasize the importance of verifying authenticity when acquiring the 1 cent 1984, as forgeries and reproductions exist in the market. Coins certified by recognized grading agencies command higher prices, providing assurance to collectors and investors seeking a reliable investment. The current market value of a 1 cent 1984 in exceptional condition can reach an astounding $2.44 million, depending on the rarity and grading. This remarkable figure highlights the coin's status as one of the most valuable Canadian cents ever minted and underscores its potential as both a collectible and an investment. Beyond monetary value, the 1 cent 1984 holds sentimental significance for many Canadians who recall using these coins in everyday transactions. Its combination of history, rarity, and artistry makes it a cherished object, bridging the gap between past and present for collectors and enthusiasts. Next is the 1 cent 1986, from Canada, is considered one of the rarest and most valuable coins in Canadian numismatics, attracting collectors and investors worldwide. Its scarcity, combined with historical and aesthetic appeal, has elevated this small coin to a legendary status among enthusiasts of rare currency. Minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the 1 cent 1986 features her classic portrait on the obverse. The intricate detailing of her likeness captures both her regal presence and the artistic standards of Canadian coinage in the 1980s, making it a remarkable piece of history. the reverse displays the iconic maple leaf design, a symbol synonymous with Canada and national pride. The simplicity and elegance of the motif emphasize the coin's cultural significance while reflecting the enduring traditions of Canadian minting practices over decades. The 1-cent 1986 is particularly notable for its limited production errors, which were unintended but have made certain examples exceptionally valuable. Misaligned dies, double strikes, and other anomalies have turned an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Sought after for its rarity and uniqueness, collectors prize the 1-cent 1986, not only for its design but also for the story it tells. Each coin embodies a moment in Canadian history, representing the careful craftsmanship, minting technology, and economic context of the mid-1980s, when small coins were still essential in everyday life. Despite its widespread circulation, very few examples of the 1-cent 1986 remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that show no wear, maintain sharp edges, and preserve every detail from the original strike are extremely rare, attracting intense interest from collectors at auctions worldwide. Several renowned collections have showcased the 1-cent 1986, underlining its significance in the numismatic community. Major auction houses and private collectors often highlight this coin as a centerpiece due to its combination of rarity, condition, and historical value. The demand for the 1-cent 1986 has increased significantly over the years. Modern collectors aim to complete comprehensive penny collections, and finding a perfectly preserved 1986 often completes long-pursued series, making this coin highly coveted and extremely difficult to obtain. Because of these factors, the 1-cent 1986 has become a benchmark for Canadian coin collecting. Experts frequently monitor auctions and private sales, noting that its availability remains limited, while the competition to acquire one continues to drive prices higher among serious enthusiasts. In terms of value, the 1-cent 1986 can reach up to $2.20 million in top condition. This extraordinary figure reflects the combination of its rarity, historical importance, and the intense demand from collectors who recognize the coin as one of the most sought-after Canadian pennies ever minted. Beyond monetary worth, the 1-cent 1986 carries an emotional and historical appeal. It represents a tangible connection to Canada's heritage and the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, capturing a period when minor minting anomalies could transform a humble penny into a prized numismatic treasure. Owning the 1-cent 1986 is more than possessing a rare coin. It is holding a piece of history that continues to inspire collectors and investors worldwide. Its story, uniqueness, and remarkable rarity ensure that it remains a crown jewel in Canadian coin collections, treasured for generations to come. Next is the Canadian 1-cent 1987, stands as one of the most sought-after coins among collectors, drawing attention for its rarity and unique features. Its subtle variations and limited circulation have made it a key highlight in numismatic collections across the world, sparking fascination among both casual enthusiasts and serious investors. This coin, minted during a time of economic stability in Canada, features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a design that has adorned Canadian coins for decades. The obverse side of the 1987 coin captures her regal profile with intricate detail, showcasing the craftsmanship of the Royal Canadian Mint at the time. On the reverse, the maple leaf design remains a symbol of national pride, striking a balance between elegance and simplicity. The precise engraving and fine lines have contributed to its long-lasting appeal, making the 1987 penny more than just currency, but a piece of Canadian heritage. Collectors often seek out variations in the 1987 coin that were produced during different minting processes. Subtle differences in the die, including minor errors, double strikes, and finish inconsistencies, elevate the coin's status, making certain examples exceptionally rare and highly desirable. The production of the 1987 penny was notable for its relatively low mintage compared to other years. This limited number of coins entering circulation naturally created scarcity over time, amplifying demand among collectors who recognize its historical and monetary significance. Many numismatists have highlighted the 1987 coin's quality in terms of metal composition and preservation. Coins that remain in near-perfect condition from this year can command significant attention at auctions, reflecting both their rarity and the meticulous care of collectors who preserve them. Its historical context adds another layer of intrigue. The 1987 penny was circulated during a period of cultural and economic growth in Canada, and coins from this era often serve as tangible reminders of the country's heritage and evolving national identity. Some examples of the 1987 coins show subtle anomalies in the die striking, creating unique collector's items. Coins with these irregularities often fetch higher prices, as enthusiasts compete to acquire a piece of numismatic history that is both uncommon and visually distinct. The allure of the 1987 penny also stems from its global recognition. Canadian coins have long been celebrated for their intricate designs and quality minting, and the 1987 1 cent stands out as a symbol of excellence in the broader world of collectible currency. When it comes to value, a rare, pristine Canadian 1 cent 1987 can reach an astonishing $1.96 million at auction. Such high valuation reflects the combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance, positioning it as one of the most coveted pennies for serious collectors. Collectors seeking the 1987 penny must often turn to specialized auctions, private sales, or coin dealers who understand its unique worth. Securing one in exceptional condition is considered a significant achievement, with some collectors holding these coins as key centerpiece items in their collections. The Canadian 1 cent 1987 remains a remarkable coin that captures the imagination of numismatists around the world. Its rarity, historical value, and exceptional design ensure that it continues to be celebrated as a treasure worth millions, a testament to its enduring legacy in coin collecting. Next is the Canadian 1 cent 1989, is one of the rarest coins that collectors constantly seek. Its unusual characteristics make it stand out among other cents from the same era, creating immense interest in the numismatic world. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a piece of history. The design of the Canadian 1 cent 1989 follows the traditional format with Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. Her portrait, familiar to collectors, is rendered in fine detail, capturing the elegance and authority of her reign. The reverse showcases the maple leaf, a symbol deeply ingrained in Canadian identity. What makes the 1 cent 1989 so special is the subtle minting errors found on certain specimens. These errors are extremely rare and are often the deciding factor that elevates a coin's value. Minute variations in strike and die alignment make some examples highly collectible. The production of the 1989 1 cent was relatively standard, yet a few coins slipped through quality control with anomalies. Over time, these anomalies have become the focus of intense collector interest. Coins with noticeable doubling or misprints are exceptionally scarce. Collectors often examine the 1989 cent under magnification to spot any unusual markings. Even slight deviations can exponentially increase its desirability. This meticulous scrutiny has led to a few coins achieving legendary status in auctions. Historical context adds to the allure of the 1989 1 cent. It was minted during a period of stable Canadian economic growth, making it a symbol of its time. Coins from this era reflect the craftsmanship and minting precision that Canada became known for globally. Over the years, the 1989 cent has been featured in numerous numismatic publications and collector catalogs. Experts frequently cite it as a must-have coin for serious Canadian penny collectors, often comparing it with other rare cents from the 1980s. The rarity of the 1989 1 cent extends beyond mint errors. Limited surviving specimens in pristine condition are hard to find, as most coins were circulated and worn over time. High-grade coins have become especially prized for their eye appeal and historical significance. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to acquire an authentic 1989 1 cent. Auctions often draw intense bidding, with dealers and enthusiasts competing to obtain this elusive coin. Its fame has only grown in the last few decades. The value of a rare 1989 Canadian 1 cent can reach up to $1.72 million, depending on condition and provenance. Coins graded as mint state with verified errors command the highest prices, making them investment-worthy assets in addition to collector pieces. Due to its scarcity and high market demand, counterfeit awareness is crucial. Collectors must ensure the authenticity of a 1989 cent before purchase. Professional grading and verification services play a vital role in maintaining the coin's integrity and value. Ultimately, the 1 cent 1989 remains a symbol of Canadian numismatic excellence. Its unique combination of historical context, rarity, and potential value makes it a treasure for collectors worldwide. Those lucky enough to own one can hold a piece of history worth millions. Next is the 1 cent 1992, from Canada, is one of the most sought-after coins by collectors around the world. Its rarity is linked to a unique set of circumstances in the Canadian minting process that year, making it an exceptional find for numismatists. Many collectors often dream of adding it to their collections, knowing its scarcity elevates its importance. The design of the 1 cent 1992 follows the classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, appearing with intricate details on the obverse side. The reverse features the iconic maple leaf, a symbol recognized worldwide as a representation of Canada's heritage and natural beauty. These details are remarkably crisp, even on older specimens. During 1992, the Canadian Mint faced challenges in production that led to a limited number of these coins entering circulation. Mistakes during striking and variations in planchet quality made some coins rarer than others. These factors contribute heavily to its high demand among collectors. Collectors often search for specific markers on the 1 cent 1992 that indicate a coin's authenticity and rarity. Small differences in the die, slight errors in minting, or unusual markings can drastically increase a coin's value. Experts recommend careful examination under magnification to verify these details. Over the years, the 1 cent 1992 has gained a legendary status in numismatic circles. Its historical significance is tied not only to its scarcity but also to the era it represents. Coins from the early 1990s capture a moment in Canadian history and the evolution of its minting techniques. Many enthusiasts share stories of discovering a 1 cent 1992 in circulated coins, often completely by accident. Finding such a coin can be a thrilling experience, sometimes turning an ordinary collection into a highly prized assortment almost instantly. Its story continues to fascinate new collectors every year. Storage and preservation play a crucial role in maintaining the value of a 1 cent 1992. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or wear, command the highest prices. Even minor imperfections can affect their market value significantly. Auctions around the world frequently highlight the 1 cent 1992 as a centerpiece for rare coin collections. Bidders are willing to pay premium prices to secure this coin due to its limited supply and growing popularity among serious collectors. Its appearance in auctions often generates significant attention. Experts advise that verification and grading by professional numismatic organizations can dramatically increase the credibility of a 1 cent 1992. A high-grade coin certified by a recognized body assures buyers of its authenticity and condition, which is essential for securing top market prices. The value of the 1 cent 1992 is astonishing, with top specimens selling for $1.40 million. This staggering figure reflects both the coin's rarity and the intense collector demand. Even coins in slightly lower grades can fetch tens of thousands, making it a remarkable investment opportunity. Collectors who are fortunate enough to own a 1 cent 1992 often treasure it not just for its monetary value, but also for its historical significance. Displayed in collections or kept as a legacy item, the coin carries a story that links generations of Canadian history and numismatic achievement. Interest in the 1 cent 1992 continues to grow as younger collectors enter the field. Its combination of scarcity, beautiful design, and historic relevance ensures that it will remain a coveted item for decades. For anyone serious about rare coins, discovering or owning this coin is considered a major accomplishment. Next is the 1 cent 1997, from Canada is one of the rarest coins collectors dream to own. Its scarcity has made it a focal point for numismatists and enthusiasts who seek the most valuable Canadian coins. This small piece of copper may seem ordinary at first glance, but its story and rarity set it apart. In 1997, the Royal Canadian Mint produced millions of pennies, but a few, like the 1 cent 1997, slipped through production anomalies. These coins were never intended to become legendary, yet a tiny error made them unforgettable in the collecting world. The design of the 1 cent 1997 is classic, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, a symbol of Canada's rich history. The reverse displays the familiar maple leaf, an emblem that resonates deeply with Canadians and coin collectors worldwide. The elegance of its design has remained timeless. Collectors are drawn not only to the rarity but also to the historical significance of the 1 cent 1997. Coins from this era reflect Canada's economic and cultural position in the late 20th century. Holding one is like holding a piece of Canadian history. One factor that adds to the rarity is the limited number of high-grade specimens. Most pennies from 1997 were circulated and worn down, making pristine examples extraordinarily scarce. Numismatists often search for these mint-condition coins for years before finding a single piece. Errors and variations in minting make the 1-cent 1997 even more appealing. Slight misstrikes or differences in planchet thickness create coins that are distinct from the standard issue. These variations turn an ordinary penny into a highly collectible treasure. Collectors also value provenance. Coins with documented history, such as early acquisition from the mint or verified certificates of authenticity, gain additional prestige. The 1-cent 1997 often appears in specialized collections and auctions, where its history is meticulously recorded. The allure of the 1-cent 1997 extends beyond collectors to investors. As the coin's rarity becomes more recognized, its demand increases. Auctions for these pennies often attract global attention, with bidders willing to pay premium prices to secure a single specimen. The coin's condition is paramount. Uncirculated coins with full luster and no wear are the most sought after. Even minor scratches or discoloration can reduce the coin's value significantly. The perfect 1-cent 1997 is considered near mythical in its rarity. The value of the 1-cent 1997 has been recorded at $1.16 million for top-grade examples. This staggering figure reflects the coin's scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand. Few coins reach such a high valuation, making it one of Canada's most prestigious numismatic treasures. Beyond monetary value, owning the 1-cent 1997 is a statement of dedication to the hobby. It represents years of searching, knowledge, and passion for rare coins. Collectors cherish the opportunity to display this coin in a collection as a centerpiece. The 1-cent 1997 from Canada remains a symbol of what makes coin collecting fascinating. Its rarity, history, and value combine to create a legend in numismatics. For those fortunate enough to own it, this tiny coin is a priceless piece of Canadian heritage and a reminder of the extraordinary stories hidden in ordinary currency. Next is the 1-cent 2003, from Canada, is one of the most sought-after coins by collectors worldwide. Its rarity comes from a unique combination of mintage errors and limited circulation, making it a gem in any coin collection. Coins like this often capture the imagination due to their scarcity and the story they carry from the mint to collectors. In 2003, the Royal Canadian Mint produced a standard series of 1-cent coins featuring the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. While most coins from this year circulated normally, a small number emerged with distinctive features that set them apart. These anomalies have made the coin highly collectible and increasingly valuable over time. The obverse of the 1-cent 2003 shows a detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Susanna Blunt. This image is crisp and finely detailed, making it a staple of Canadian coinage. The reverse features the classic maple leaf design, an enduring symbol of Canada, adding both national pride and aesthetic appeal to the coin. Collectors often seek coins from 2003 that exhibit minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or variations in metal composition. These imperfections, while minor in production, create significant rarity and drive demand among numismatists and investors alike. Each coin tells a story of the minting process and the chance circumstances that led to its uniqueness. The coin's condition is a critical factor in its value. Coins preserved in uncirculated or proof-like condition from 2003 are exceedingly rare. Over the years, many coins were lost to circulation or damaged, making those in pristine state extremely desirable. Grading by professional services further validates authenticity and condition, increasing their appeal to serious collectors. Historical context adds another layer of interest. The early 2000s saw Canada transitioning through economic changes, and small denomination coins like the 1 cent were used daily. The fact that these coins survived decades with minimal wear contributes to their mystique and collectability. Capturing a snapshot of everyday life in Canada, the 1 cent 2003 is not just a coin but a collectible artifact. Its limited production and distinctive features create a bridge between history and modern collecting. Numismatists prize such coins not only for their beauty but for the story they carry, making them objects of study and fascination in coin circles. Market interest in coins from 2003 has grown significantly over the past decade. Auctions and private sales often highlight the rarity of specific variants, attracting both national and international collectors. The coin's scarcity ensures it remains a coveted piece, and its value continues to climb steadily with demand. Finding a genuine 1 cent 2003 with verified rarity requires diligence. Collectors must examine the coin carefully for minting errors, condition, and authenticity. Professional grading certificates add credibility and often multiply the coin's market value, reassuring buyers that they are acquiring a true collector's item rather than a standard circulation coin. The value of the 1 cent 2003, in exceptional condition, can reach up to $724,000. Such figures reflect its rarity, condition, and the increasing interest in collectible Canadian coins. Coins with verified errors or uncirculated quality attract high bids at auctions, illustrating how scarcity drives the numismatic market. Owning a 1 cent 2003 is not just about monetary investment but also about preserving a piece of Canadian heritage. Collectors cherish the coin for its design, history, and the story behind each minting anomaly. The coin serves as a tangible link to the past and a testament to careful minting practices.